I think that's going to happen anyway. First of all, let's just start with the events. Let's just start by covering the events, shall we, people? Um, so, as most of us know now, 2 days ago, um, I think it was on Friday, Sunday night, um, 6 Premier League teams got together in secret meetings and basically put a statement out that explained that they were trying to push through a closed off league called the European Super League. We'll take a look at one of those statements now. So if we go to, let's just say, Liverpool, because they're on my mind at the minute, obviously being one of the teams who... Oh, they've unpinned the statement, I think. Have they left it up? Have they left up their statement? That's a big tell. Whether... Okay, so here's Liverpool Football Club's statement. And let me just make this clear. I'm in this with all football fans around the world. Whether this is your team or not, if I slate any of these teams today, it's not the players, and it's certainly not the managers. It's not got nothing to do with the fans either, or the backroom stuff. I am purely slating the owners, because the owners of these clubs are despicable, and the greed they have shown, the utter disregard for football fans they have shown in the last 2-3 days, I think it is now, is fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. But let's look into this. Let's look into this statement written and released by Liverpool on the 18th of April, 2 days ago. So, Liverpool Football Club can confirm that we have joined Europe's leading clubs in agreeing to form a new competition, the European Super League. So, all clubs who signed up for this closed league had to release a statement like this. So obviously Arsenal would have done one, Chelsea would have released a statement, Man City released a statement, I think. I know Arsenal definitely did. And I know Tottenham did too. They all released a statement basically naming the teams. Here's the teams here that signed up for this. So AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Real Madrid and Tottenham have all joined as founding clubs. It is anticipated that a further 3 clubs will join ahead of the inaugural season, which is intended to commence as soon as practicable. Obviously now that's all up in the air. It probably isn't going to go through as we keep everyone up to date with this now. I think 3 teams have backed out of this now, confirmed. I think two are definitely confirmed, Chelsea and Manchester City. I think now we're just waiting for the other dominoes to fall. I mean, that's a bit too early. This could still go ahead. Fans who didn't sign up, you might have wondered when I read the teams out there that a couple of names were missing. Obviously Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund. These are all teams who had no vested interest in this tournament at all, in statements that they've released recently, claiming they were never interested and they hate the idea of a closed off tournament with no competition. The whole premise of this tournament, by the way, for people who are just hearing about this for the first time, this new tournament was to be put in place to replace the Champions League, obviously biggest club competition on the planet. And this competition was formatted so that the founding members would forever reserve a spot in this tournament, poor performances or not. So there would be no promotion, no relegation into this closed Super League, and 15 spaces would be forever taken up by the 15 founding clubs. Obviously only 12 signed up, and they're the clubs that I read to you just moments ago. So the format of this tournament is so unfair as it is. There were meant to be 5 supposed spaces in which teams could enter based on performance merit throughout that season. So basically it was never really going to work. Was it really? It was never really going to work. it was it wasn't ever really going to work. If you think about it, we're obviously all still concerned in case it does go ahead. But it was only ever really a greed-fueled idea, a greed-fueled proposal brought to the table by the owners of, I think, 4 clubs and the ex-president of Real Madrid, Perez, who is a horrid bastard. So, obviously, how can you have a league? This is the question I was asking. How can you have a league in which participant club owners had part ownership of the league also? How is that ever fair on any planet? How is that ever fair? Imagine the amount of corruption that would take place in such a league, where owners of the club in the league also had part ownership in said league. Imagine the corruption that would have taken place there. Imagine. But let's carry on. Let's look on Twitter. Let's check the hashtags. Let's check the updates that are coming into us live as you watch this live stream to find out the latest on who is left. You know, who's pulling out and whatever. So we'll go to Sky News. I'll swap this back over to web so you guys can see what I'm seeing. We've got a confirmation here from Sky Sports News telling us that Chelsea are preparing documents to formally withdraw from the proposed breakaway Super League, which is fantastic to hear. Fantastic. And this all comes shortly after Chelsea fans caught down outside Stamford Bridge, the home of Chelsea, protesting against this league. And if we can get just listening and nodding your head. Love to hear it, J-Lad. Happy you're here, lad. Happy you're here. I know, obviously, your club is one of the founding clubs. And for fans all over the world, this is honestly... It's disgusting. It's disgusting. No one wants this to happen. No one. I'll get on with what I was saying though. So right now, Sky Sports News are reporting that Chelsea, as I said, are preparing documents to formally withdraw. We're now hearing that the Manchester City are also planning to formally withdraw. Perez has hit back. The president of Real Madrid has hit back, stating that all contracts were signed on Saturday, the day before the break of the news, by the clubs, and the contracts apparently are concrete. Apparently they are watertight. They are sealed. They are airtight contracts. So whether Chelsea can, talk the way out of this now, I'm not sure, but they're trying, and that's what I like to see. At least they're trying, and I feel like because Chelsea are trying, it's spurring on other clubs to also try and leave. It's scaring them, it's shaking the foundations now. And Manchester City, as you can see here, will also be leaving the Super League. Look, it's great to see for a football fan who grew up from the age of... When did I go my first game? I want to say I went my first game at 4 years of age. I could barely walk. 3 or 4, I went my first game. And I'm an Everton fan, by the way, for people, just for context. So I reckon if that's what qualifies you as a fan, I've been a fan since I was 4. But I was even an Everton fan before that. I was even an Everton fan way before that. Well, to be fair, it was made up for me before it even came out the womb that I was going to support Everton, because my dad and all my immediate family supported Everton. But I've been a fan, so you could say I've been a fan since I've left the womb, but since I've understood the concept of football, I've been an Everton fan. And a fan of football. So this was an immediate threat to me. And to everything I loved in the world of football. It was a disgusting proposal by people who aren't even connected to the sport. I saw an article the other day from one of the Glazers saying that he doesn't even know what the offside rule is properly yet, and he owns one of the biggest football clubs in the world. in the world. He owns Manchester United, one of the biggest football clubs, one of the richest football clubs in both wealth and tradition. He owns that club and he doesn't know the basic rules of football. He doesn't know the basics of football, and he owns one of the biggest football clubs in football in the world. And to me, that is puzzling. I'm getting so worked up about it, and I'm sorry, but we need to put things in place now. We need this. Me mate who goes all the Liverpool away games, I was speaking to him on Twitter before, he said to me, this could be a blessing in disguise now, because this will lead to legislation. Trust me, this will lead to the 50+1 rule like we see in Germany coming in place in England. I am hoping and praying that it does. I am hoping and praying. For people who don't know, the 50+1 rule means that fans get 51% of the ownership of the football club. I think it's either 51% or 50% plus one share of the ownership of the football club, meaning that the fans own the majority of their football club. And that is what has happened in Germany for a while now. I'm not sure when the legislation came in place originally in Germany, but that is what is in place in Germany, which is why you don't see any German football club signing up for this, because the fans of football who understand the game of football did not want this to happen. Plain and simple, did not want this to happen. And so the fans themselves, who own Bayern Munich, who own Borussia Dortmund, had their word. They had their word, and so their teams did not join and did not sign up to the Super League. Can I just say as well, praise to Porto, a club who could do with the money. Porto, they play in the Portuguese league. It's not the wealthiest league in the world. It's not the best league in the world in terms of football and talent or football entertainment. They don't have the best players in the world over there. And it would have been so easy for Porto to have looked at this and said, we can make a fair bit of dough off the back of this. Let's get involved. And they said no. And I was buzzing with them when I saw that happen, because although, as I said, it's a relatively small brick in a massive wall, that brick not being there has helped the crumble. That brick not being there has helped the crumble of this league, of this closed off, greed-driven league that these American owners were trying to push through. Americans who know nothing about the game of football, who don't give a shit about the game of football in England. It was all disgusting. Just disgusting. I am so happy that we're looking at this now as a potential gone by, as a potential fall through. Like this has now basically, this is done now. I'm so happy that we're looking at this now, and we're able to just rest a little bit, because the chances of it happening now are slimmer than they were 2 days ago. And I'm starting to get a little bit of hope. I'm starting to get a little bit of hope back. But we'll look at the reaction of the fans. So we'll look at the outward reaction of the football world. But we'll go straight to Stamford Bridge hashtag, because this is Chelsea fans about an hour ago protesting outside Stamford Bridge, the home of Chelsea Football Club, against their team going and playing in this Super League. So not sure whether I can actually play any commentary.
Evening, Chelsea are up against Brighton. You can watch it on Sky Sports. This game has become pretty much a focal point for protest. No fans allowed, remember, but they're gathering outside and social distancing looks.
So here are all the fans gathering outside Chelsea, and they were blocking off the coach route, stopping the coaches from being able to come in, carrying the players, and obviously then the players being able to play football. So as you can see here, they are on the road here. This is the main entrance here into the ground. This is where the coaches of both teams would come in before match day, and there are the fans there. A blue wall, if you'd like, just stopping the entrance. My personal opinion on Chelsea fans is bipolar at the minute, because I love them for going there and protesting, but I also have issue with the fan base as a whole because of previous events in football, such as them spitting on the Hillsborough Memorial, which is obviously something massively close to me, a lad from the city, and obviously the amount of racial abuse that has occurred at the hands of their fans has been ridiculous. But at the minute, I'm looking at this, and as I say, I'm happy that it's happened. Me thoughts still remain the same on Chelsea Football Club as a whole, though. I don't like them, don't like the fans as a whole, but I like what they've done here today, and it's massively important what they've done here today. Don't get that twisted. What they've done here today is massive. Let's go. We'll look at some of the images coming from the protests. One fan holds up beside me 1 hour cold nights in Stoke. I love that. Because it's what the game's all about, playing those teams of perhaps a lesser quality, going away to these English football grounds on a coach with your dad, with your family, to these strange grounds and playing these teams and bringing in the atmosphere with you. I went away. I was fortunate enough to go away to Old Trafford when I was a kid to watch Everton versus Man United. It was the game that ended 4-4. There's nothing like an away day. And if this league was to be proposed, the normal working class fan would never have been able to go to an away day ever again, because games were being hosted in, obviously away games would then have been hosted in, well, obviously closest away game being Manchester, so you could have went to away games, but not to watch your team. Let's play, say, Liverpool. Obviously, Jay in the chat there is a massive Liverpool fan. He has been for his whole life. He would never have been able to go and watch Liverpool play away consistently because of the amount of distance he would have to cover to go and watch them. He would have to go to Italy to watch them play Juventus on a Saturday. How much money is that just to get there? Then imagine the extortion of the ticket prices. Atmosphere, by the way, would have been killed dead, and that's what that's a massive part of going the game to watch your team, is the atmosphere. Atmosphere would have been killed dead. Atmosphere would have died. Make no mistake about that. The atmosphere would have been dead because the Americans, they would have give out an increased share of what business tickets. So. Tickets that just would have went out to like competition winners, businessmen, basically to the open market. Tickets would have been sold on the open market, so anyone could have just went in the game. Whereas now in England, the way it's set up is, if a game is played at your home ground, your fans get the majority of the tickets, and a small section is given to away supporters who travel to your ground in unison to watch their team play football. Away games would have died. You would never have had the back and forth of the home fans versus the away fans ever again. Ever again. You would never have had it. At least not at the volume we have it now. You would never have had it. Imagine 7,000 Liverpool fans travelling to Italy 1 week, then travelling to Spain the next to watch the next week's game. It would never have happened. It would never have happened. It would never ever have happened. And so business tickets would have increased. There would have been so many business tickets being sold. So many. But from what we're seeing now, obviously these are more pictures from the Chelsea protest earlier on. And Chelsea are actually scheduled to kick off against Brighton in 5 minutes' time. Whether that game goes ahead now or not, I'm not entirely sure.
We say football! We say football!
I'm happy they went down, as I said. I'm happy the Chelsea fans went down. It's good to see that everyone's united on this and everyone's passionate about this. I mean, I've seen the odd comment every now and then about fans claiming this is a good idea, and then you just for you to then click on their account and see they're a Liverpool fan from Ghana, or they're a Man United fan from Tibet. If you're not connected to the city that your club's from, there's a high chance that you think this is a good idea. Because you're not able to go to the games anyway, so why should it bother you? You live so far away anyway. But yeah, obviously buzzing to the Chelsea fans who went down, buzzing to those who went wearing masks as well. But yeah, the scenes say it all really, and I still don't quite think the Americans understand why the world are taking such a brutal stance on this. I still do not think the Americans understand why we are taking such a massive stance on this. I still don't think they understand. But yeah, congratulations Chelsea fans, because if that protest has had any effect, you've done a massive duty to the whole of football there. A massive duty. UEFA that's 3 hours ago. UEFA now to launch a counter-attack on the Super League. I mean, there's only so much they can do anyway. UEFA isn't there as a governing body. They can ban clubs from the Champions League. They can ban players, I think, for playing for the international teams. Apparently that was going to get took to a lawsuit. Florentino Perez, I'm surprised he's still alive, I won't lie. I'm not inciting violence. I am not inciting violence. What I'm saying is, because of the amount of uproar I've seen from this and how strongly people feel about football, I'm surprised no one's found out where he lives. I'm so surprised. That man will be hiding. For a while. Statement from RB Leipzig. We are advocates of sporting competition, and the sporting competition in pro football means you fight in national leagues to reach a position in the table that justifies your place in the international competition. Right, that's also another breath of fresh air. That's another sigh of relief, because if there was any German team that was going to join the Super League, it would have been Leipzig, because of the way they even became a team in the first place, through obviously Red Bull. But the way this is looking, oh, sorry about that. The way this is looking, this doesn't look like it's going to go ahead now. And I'm so happy about it. Let's see more. And I know a couple of players have spoke out today. I know a couple of players have spoke up today, like Luke Shaw has spoke up, for example, over on his Instagram, saying this. Not a minute has passed when I haven't thought about the current situation. I wonder how I could express my opinion without causing any issues for my club, which everyone knows I care about deeply. He plays for Man United, for, as I said, context. I grew up watching the Premier League and Champions League and fell in love with the sport watching what in my opinion are the two biggest club competitions in the world. My ambition was to one day be able to play in these competitions and be part of this. Determination was to show that with hard work anyone can achieve these dreams and play on the highest stages. There is so much passion around the world for football, and I have been privileged to experience that firsthand. However, I worry that these changes could impact the sport that I and millions of others love. We've been without supporters in stadiums for over a year now, and I know myself just how much that me and the team have missed them each and every game. Fans and players should always have a voice, and their opinion should always be counted. So, as I said, numerous people in the football world have spoke out about this now. That's obviously bullshit. Yeah, that's obviously bullshit. I think that's a parody page. But yeah, big respect to the people who have spoke out. As I said, Luke Shaw today, as well as Marcus Rashford. Yesterday it was James Milner, Jurgen Klopp speaking out about it yesterday. James Milner saying very simply, I don't like this and I don't want it to happen. Loved that. Loved that. He's a man of few words, James Milner. Hearing him say stuff like that, it makes you respect him even. It makes you respect the man. Do you know what I mean? It's lovely to see. It's lovely to see that every real football fan is united on this front. But I mean, this guy Ed Woodward is English. He should have knew. He should have knew. He should have knew. As chairman of Man United, he should have knew that this would never have went through. As an Englishman in this country, knowing how much football means, he should have knew. And now there are, hashtags like Glazers out, Woodward out, who obviously the mafia in charge of Man United, if you'd like. A lot of news breaking today, and we're gonna keep with it. I love Limmy, but we're gonna stick with it, and we're gonna see who else leaves, who else backs down here. But yeah, these are just some protest banners from clubs that have been put up outside grounds over the past couple of days. So obviously, Liverpool fans protested strongly yesterday against FSG, who own Liverpool, who were also part owners of the European Super League and founders. So obviously you can see banners here, Liverpool Football Club against the European Super League, and you love to see it. Dortmund fans who are now... Is this from a few years ago? I was going to say I don't think they're allowed back in the stadium. But obviously this has been a thing proposed for a couple of years now. Yeah. Real Madrid presenting the Super League trophy to Florence and Perez after all the clubs left. I mean, yeah. But yeah, these are the big three in Europe. These are the big three clubs in European football. The teams who spoke up when no one else did. They stood up when no one else did. Peak Pizzachu says on Twitter, these are the big three. These three clubs have gained so much more respect from me over the past couple of days. Mainly Bayern and Dortmund, I'd like to add, because I know the only reason PSG didn't sign up, hinted, is because their owners are actually of Qatar, and they didn't want to go against FIFA, who have just given Qatar the World Cup in a big corrupt deal. So PSG, yeah, nice for saying no, but you had no choice really. They had no choice really. Because let's not be foolish here. Football was corrupt way before this. Football has been corrupt forever. Since football and bodies became a thing, football has been corrupt. So it is what it is. FIFA and UEFA, the presidents are going out in press conferences now and talking about the greed and how despicable the European Super League idea is, which it is. But these are people who have been involved in backdoor deals, passed money behind backs. These are people who have been involved in greed and corruption themselves. It's like why Domino's Pizza got attacked on Twitter the other day. Domino's Pizza say that they're bringing out a new pizza, something about ingredients include greed and disgusting financial gain, when they charge $18.99 for a margarita pizza. You know what I mean? Dominoes don't really have a leg to stand on, do they? Really?